o'clock. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
6 o'clock. Ready to start with the regular Tuesday night meeting. Good evening. This is Tuesday, February 14th, and we'll open with our regular meeting. The invocation will be given by, will you do the invocation? Commissioner Holberg, and the pledge will be led by Commissioner myself.
Bow our heads. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everybody. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Please turn and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under presentation and delegations, first, okay, can I get a motion to amend the agenda to add?
I make a motion that we amend the agenda to include item number 13, declaring what day?
Christopher Thomas Ware Day.
Christopher Columbus Ware Day.
Christopher Thomas Ware Day.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Christopher?
Thomas Ware.
I said Columbus, didn't I? Thomas Ware Day. Sorry about that.
I have a motion and a second to amend the agenda to include item 13. All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 6-0. Thank you. Okay, now we'll recognize Rita Bagwell as Customer Service of the Customer Service Department as January 2012 Strongest Link Award recipient.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is pretty cool. We're up here again.
Right.
Yeah. Miss Rita, come on up. I'm almost giddy over this one because if you knew Rita, there's a couple nicknames and other information that I really can't tell you about right now. But she's what we call in electric department one of our rock stars. And the things she has done at the contract desk, if anybody ever wants to have an interesting day, come sit at the contract desk because it's an amazing thing, and all the crossing the T and dotting the I's and everything, and I didn't think it could get any better until Rita kind of took that over as a supervisor and has just took it to a different level. And Rita, I can only say thank you for the hard work and everything. You've been here 6 years? 4 years. I mean, it seems like 6. But we hope to have her many, many years to come because she's only going to do wonderful things for the city, and just want to give you a big round of applause and thank you very much and present you with the January Strongest Link of the Chain Award. And then also, Laura has a present for you, which is actually the strongest link. And also a $25 gift certificate for Henry, and then also for nominating her. And again, thank you very much.
Madam Chairman, in my business, we get to deal with Rita and the crew on a regular basis, and it's unbelievable what folks will try to do to get one past the city. And I don't think the chances of getting past Rita or any of the gals down there is very likely, and they save us. I mean, there are customers that will try to come in to change documents and change contracts, and they'll owe the city. It could be $500, it could be several $1,000s, but I appreciate y'all's hard work and everything.
Thank you. I need to make a correction. The item that we amended the agenda to change was under presentation and delegations and not number 13 on the regular agenda.
And I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add item 13, which is to consider consider a memorandum of understanding regarding the proposed new airport.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to amend the agenda to include item number 13, memorandum of understanding.
Is this a new item from this?
No, that's,
Actually, we put that agenda out with 24 hours notice with that on there, so you're
so
actually...
it's in there?
Yes, sir. It was in the new agenda that came out first thing Monday morning, so it has had 24 hours.
Okay, so we don't need to amend the agenda to include that item. Okay. Okay, now we recognize Judge Ronald Cook for his service to the City of Griffin as municipal court judge. Ms. Cook, would you please stand?
We'd like to recognize you as well.
For putting up with us.
Thank you for putting up with a judge for 25 years or more.
Okay, now we'll consider a joint proclamation recognizing and proclaiming Tuesday, February 14th, 2012 as Christopher Thomas Ware Day in the City of Griffin and Spalding County.
All righty. I'll be reading the proclamation, so if you guys will come up front. Very long proclamation. So we'll try not to be here all evening reading all of his accomplishments. City of Griffin and Spalding County Joint Proclamation. Whereas Christopher Thomas Ware, the son of Thomas and Angela Ware, is currently a senior at Spalding High School in Griffin, Spalding County, Georgia. And whereas Christopher Thomas Ware has exhibited exceptional leadership skills in his community and academic endeavors. And whereas Christopher Thomas Ware has served his community in such capacities as Vice President of the Youth Ministry at West Mount Sinai Baptist Church of Barnesville, Georgia, Salvation Army Holiday Bell Ringer, and worked as a volunteer in the Relay for Life program. And whereas Christopher Thomas Ware was elected as a class president in each of his first 3 years at Spalding High School, and currently serves as the student body president for the high school. And whereas Christopher Thomas Ware, during his 4 years at Spalding High School, has been a member of the Beta Club, the Beauregard Civic and Social Club, the Future Business Leaders of America, the Varsity Track and Cross Country teams, the Homecoming King as a senior, voted best all around as a senior superlative, amongst many other honors. And whereas Christopher Thomas Ware in 2011 became the first Spalding County student to be elected as the governor of Georgia Boys State, the annual statewide program designed to educate students as to the workings of our state and local government. And whereas Christopher Thomas Ware is to be commended for his community and academic success and is encouraged to continue to be an exemplary role model for other young men and women. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners for the City of Griffin, Georgia, and the Board of Commissioners for the County of Spalding do hereby proclaim Tuesday, February 14th, 2012, as Christopher Thomas Ware Day, and urge all persons throughout the City of Griffin and Spalding County to give special honor and recognition to Mr. Christopher Thomas Ware. Signed by the Honorable Cynthia Reed Ward, Mayor of the City of Griffin, and the Honorable Gwendolyn Flowers Taylor, Chairwoman of Spalding County Board of Commissioners.
Thank you. Okay, now recognize the City of Griffin Fat, Oil, and Grease Program of Excellence Award for 2011 by the Georgia FOG Alliance.
Commissioners, good evening.
Good evening.
Doesn't sound like something interesting, fog, fat, oil, and grease. But 10 years ago, we embarked upon the Fat, Oil, and Grease Program as part of our capacity maintenance and operation program, and we were the first city in the state of Georgia to be in full compliance across the board. We were nominated and then received the award this year of excellence from the Georgia Fog Alliance for our merit in serving the state of Georgia, and we've helped over 37 different communities implement a fat, oil, and grease program. The bottom line is one number that you might want to keep in your mind. Last year, we stopped 610 million gallons of grease from going into the sewer system. So, 610,000 gallons, so 500,000 gallons of grease. Had to think about that. And then the second thing with that is and Drew can probably attest to this. Remember the old days, we probably were $20,000 to $30,000 a year in fines, and now we're probably somewhere in the neighborhood, probably less than $5,000 a year in consent. So, just want to let you know that we did receive the award, and we appreciate your support because it wasn't easy getting into the Fat, Oil, and Grease program, as you all were aware. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good work.
I didn't see the Arbor Day proclamation on this. Okay. Recognize the proclamation declared on Wednesday, February 15th as Arbor Day in the city of Griffin.
You don't have to read it.
You have to read it. You
don't
just
have to
make a
read
motion.
Unless you want to read the air.
Okay.
Fine job, man. Hey, fine job.
That's right.
Thank you,
Didn't
Brian.
miss a word.
To the point.
Right,
Okay.
didn't miss a word.
Okay. Now, Joseph Walker, Executive Director of the Spalding County Collaborative Authority for Families and Children Incorporated, will update the Commission on the 2011 Annual Report and Audit.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come. I won't take but just a few minutes, and I apologize to a couple of you who have seen me do this before. This is the time of year that, as my job with the collaborative, to go and meet with the county and the city government and present our annual report and other major partners that we have. And I won't take but a few minutes. I'll try to condense a year's worth of work in about 2 or 3 minutes. By the time we submitted our final report on the Strengthening Communities Fund to the feds, December the 31st, we had worked with 60 nonprofit organizations, providing training and capacity building and helping them to turn compassionate ideas into sustainable programs. Most of the training was contracted through UGA. We had fabulous training that was offered to these folks. 40 of these organizations we were able to help financially, and 20 of them took advantage of slots that were made available to them for training slots. We were able to put the SWIFT booklet, if you're aware of that, we give that out at the Back to School Bash every year. We have it published for middle school and high school. It's a book of resource information for kids. We were able to put that on their own website this year, and then print business cards. It makes it a whole lot more user-friendly for that age population. After the April tornado, the collaborative was asked to provide 20 volunteers a day for the Disaster Relief Center. And through the response of this community, we were able to coordinate 377 individuals that gave a total of 3,812 hours of service. 229 families and 683 individuals were served initially. 341 families, 989 individuals were served as repeats. People were able to come back every 3 days and get the supplies that they needed. Through that center, we were able to distribute 113,471 pounds of donated goods to the citizens of this county. Most of that donated goods came out of the back of your citizens' cars. their pickup trucks. We would get a call for bleach or mops or coffee, or when we put it out on the website, within an hour, this community would pour in with just loads and loads of stuff. Unbelievable. After the distribution center closed, we were asked to pull together a group of folks from Spalding County to put together a long-term recovery committee, volunteer long-term recovery committee. We worked and pulled together this group consisting of representatives from Centerpoint Church, Eagles Way Church, First Baptist, First Methodist, St. John's Lutheran, Salvation Army, Blake's Building Supply, Rotary Club, First National Bank, NAACP, and other community volunteers. So far, this group has succeeded in raising, with the help of North Georgia Conference, 2 grants from them, and the Salvation Army, almost $300,000 to be used in this community for people who were either underinsured or not insured. That money is still available, and so if you have constituents that need help, then if you'll refer them to us, we'll make sure that they get to where they need to be. We have case managers that are working out in the field, working with each individual family and presenting their information to the allocation committee to spend these funds as they see fit. And we know that this effort is not going to end next week. This is an effort that probably will go on for the next year or so. But this committee is in place, and the ability to raise the funds is in place for the next time that this community has this kind of disaster. We currently have 350 members consisting of community members from all walks of life. We meet the second Wednesday of every month at 9 o'clock at the Health Department. We invite each and all of you to come. It's an open meeting. We have a website at www.spaldingcollaborative.com that will give you, I guarantee you, more information than you ever want to know about the collaborative. But it also lists all of our members, all of our partners, and contact information for that if you were to need that. So on behalf of the Spalding County Collaborative Board, I want to thank you for the support that you've been able to give us and express through me their desire to continue to work with the city, to continue to have a positive relationship as we work together to improve the quality of lives for the citizens of Spalding County. If you have questions for me, I'll try to answer them. I can't guarantee.
We are still getting requests from the tornado victims, Joseph?
We are, but not as much as I would think. And I don't know a lot of folks are hesitant to ask for help. They should know by now that we've printed thousands of brochures and put out in that community. They should know where to ask for help. But if you hear of folks or have friends or relatives, then at least refer them to me, and I'll make sure they get to the right place.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll review financial and quarter reports for December 2011. Marcus.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
So I'll make this brief if I can. Our first section is the cash balance report for December, and we're being very conservative again, as we have been in the past, and basically trying to preserve the cash as much as possible for anticipated expenditures coming up here in the near future, such as for capital outlay. There is a truck that's being purchased in the near future, a fire truck, etc. Do you have any questions regarding cash?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This morning, Lex talked about establishing a cash reserve within the water utility fund and not over on the city side.
Yes.
But in the enterprise fund side. Have you heard that? Assume you've thought about this. Is that a quick comment?
The comment, I'll try to be brief.
That'd be nice.
It basically, you need to take it off the top.
Need to what?
You need to take it off the top. So identify the revenue, identify the dollar amount we would like to reserve, and then let that sit on the side, and then that net revenue that's left over, use that to cover expenditures. I'll try to keep it as that being the explanation.
I think, though, if you go back and look at your bond resolution, which you're bound by, all the money has to flow downward from the revenue fund. You pay your bond obligations under those covenants.
As long as the bond...
And then it goes into the revenue, the renewal and extension fund. So really that R&E fund becomes your reserve. It's only when the commission, by resolution, votes to move money out of R&E that it comes into the general fund. So I think the mechanism is there. We may not be following, but it's there.
The water wastewater utility fund investments is showing $4.2 million. Is that all sewer capacity recovery fees, or is that renewal and extensions? And that's on page 1 on the cash balance report.
Well, part of it's reserved, part is restricted. Is the reserve part the...
That $4.3 million, 1.2 million is in the wastewater emergency fund, and then the $2.2 million in the capacity recovery fund. And then there's $1 million, there's $953,000 in the renewals and extensions.
So do we already have a reserve? I mean, we already have a reserve fund then, or emergency fund.
It's called the Light Water Sewer Emergency Fund, so it's light water and electricity.
That's the 1.2 million.
That is correct, sir.
Then under the electric department, there's a reserved $3.2 million there. Is that the same?
The 3.2 represents customer utility deposits, sir.
That's deposits.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't want
It
to drop
is-
this for the moment, but sounds like we need a little sorting out explanation later.
It's going to involve some strong decisions. Yes.
I think we're also doing this on the 28th, are we not, discussing this issue on the 28th for our retreat and our workshop?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you, Marcus.
Do we want to cover the rest of the financial statements?
Mhm.
Okay. The lost and local option sales tax and special purpose is the second page, or second document. And I received word that this morning they're going to, Bank of New York Mellon made an entry to our account for January. They're going to retract that and move it back over to the capital to satisfy the construction for the bonds for Spalding County. So these numbers as presented as of December are correct. Starting in January, you're going to see no monies coming in for SPLOST because they will be reserved for capital, the bond payments.
Right, and it ends this year. I was told this afternoon that this SPLOST will end this year. It was a 5-year SPLOST.
6-year SPLOST.
So it'll go another year then.
Another 2 years, actually.
3 years. 3 years.
Starting in 2007.
And then the other document we have is the revenue expense by fund. And basically there's
I didn't see any
very little.
real anomalies in there. Everything's fairly well tracking the budget, so.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then the last document is the revenue status report as of December. And these numbers keep tracking, or at least they continue to track where we placed our estimates a couple months back, right around the 280,000 mark. And I've also included one article from the Feds on the Beige Book for Atlanta, dated January 11th, and a Reuters article on job rates and payrolls. And last time we met, we had mentioned about placing these items available or making them available on the website. They are on the website, all the financial reports, and the status report is now under financial reports under the DOAS tab.
Good.
Any questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, Chairperson will open the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum of unlimited expressions of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for a resolution. Having said that, is there anyone on my left that would like to come forward and address the board? Is there anyone on the right that would like to come forward and address the board? Thank you. Okay, please come forward. Okay.
First of all, I'm very nervous, so excuse me, I've never done this before.
Wait a minute, would you pull the microphone down in front of you so we can hear what you're saying?
I'm sorry.
And please give us your name and address for the minute.
Okay, my name is Betty Torres, and I live at 1624 Hallmark Drive, Griffin, Georgia, apartment G100. And I am here to talk about my electric bill. I'm on disability, and my bill comes out on the 1st every time, and my check doesn't come in until the 3rd, and so that makes me have to pay, in my opinion, because my check is very limited, and I have to pay a good bit over of late fees, and it concerns me very much because I have, I'm alone, I'm a divorced person, and I have to, I have things, bills I have to pay, and it just puts a strain on me financially, and I try very hard to pay my bills on time, and last year my mom passed away, and she would always be there for me to pay my bill when it came in on the 1st, and then when my check came in on the 3rd, I would pay her back. But now I don't have, I don't have that help, and so I'm trying to, make this, on my own and stuff, and so that's.
Thank you, and I had talked to you, and I told you that I would refer you, and I talked to the city manager to talk to you to try to get a resolution to what the situation that you have.
And I thank you so much, Cindy.
Okay, but Mr. Smith will talk to you after
Yeah,
we're done.
you'll get with me after the meeting, I'll get your information and I'll talk to you.
God bless y'all.
Thank you.
Happy Valentine's.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone else on the right that would like to come forward and address the board? Okay, thank you. Okay, we don't have any public hearing, so we'll move into the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, unless others have corrections, I move we approve the minutes presented.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Okay, on to our regular agenda. Consider approval to award purchase of a Johnson VT800 street sweeper to Pat's Pump and Blower in the amount of $238,692 for the Public Works and Utility Department.
Madam Chair, I move we approve this, and I do have a question.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second.
Are we going to be able to sell the old one? Or is it totally junk?
It's sitting at the airport right now, but it's on its last leg, so it's probably gonna be salvaged. We tried to let the airport have the old one to try to pick up on a regular scheduled basis out of the rocks and debris, but Phil's having problems maintaining it, so it'll be surplus.
So, okay, sold for parts, so.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval of a lease agreement between the City of Griffin and Donald L. Crider Jr. Adam Cosby will address.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I I have a motion and a second to approve.
This is a new lease, right?
Yes, sir, this is a new lease, a new tenant, and it's a space that we've worked out for him. Yes, sir.
I don't know, Don's a pretty rough character, I don't know.
Big security deposit.
Pardon?
A year.
Yes, sir, it's a one-year lease with two 12-month automatic renewals.
3% increase.
Yes, sir, on renewals, yes, sir.
Any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0.
We're going to walk out.
Okay. Consider for approval the acceptance of a grant from the Central Georgia EMC Foundation in the amount of $2,724 for the purchase of CPR mannequins for the City of Griffin Fire Department and amend the budget accordingly.
Madam Chair, I move we happily accept the grant for its purpose.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any
Can't
further?
have too many mannequins.
Further
Are
discussion?
done.
No comment. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0.
Speak for yourself, I can't say it.
Oh, well, it's a shoot it.
Consider request from the Griffin Spalding High School Authority for expenditures of funds in the amount of $25,000.
Madam Chair, I move we approve.
Second. A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider the extension of a rate indexing base on the municipal cost index as adopted in February 2007, and which provisions sunset on February 28, 2012.
Madam Chair, I move we approve this.
Second with discussion.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
This is strictly just for stormwater and for solid waste.
The current
One's got,
the current one has water, wastewater, stormwater, solid waste. I don't have a resolution prepared for you to actually approve because I wanted some discussion about what you wanted to do, but couldn't do that until we heard from Lex this morning on the rate model for water and sewer. So I wanted to kind of get some direction for where you wanted to go, and then I'll bring the actual resolution back for approval. I'm recommending that we use the MCI again for another 5-year period, but delegate it to stormwater and solid waste because we don't have a rate model for those utilities like we do now with water and wastewater and also with the electric utility, which has never been included.
but the proposal this morning talked about having a 4 or 5% rate increase in another year, instead of hitting everybody with one big rate increase in 2 years. I tried to find my document from this morning. Would it make more sense for us to have a 2% rate increase for water and stormwater each year? Or
Well,
Previously, didn't the MCI include water?
include, right.
It did include water and sewer, but now
Now
we've paid quite handsomely for this model that we can go in and plug in the figures based on capital improvements and a myriad of other things that will go into this formula that you saw this morning. So to me, it would make more sense to use that formula rather than just the MCI adjustment that you don't really know what it is from year to year. The formula that Lex presented are the real numbers that come straight from us, so.
Okay, let me make sure I understand. If we approve this tonight, which I assume we will, I vote, it goes into effect for everything we had before except water, of course, and sewer.
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer. However, what concerns me with the presentation this morning is those costs pretty much track the inflation rate from what he projected. And the nice thing about this was it sort of takes it out of politics, and we've tracked inflation. In the past, years ago, politics would pop up in water rates and people wouldn't vote for the increase even though it cost more, and we got into a bind. So there's something to be said positive for letting it track the MCI and keeping it sort of non-political.
Well, the difference is you've got capital improvements that you'll be factoring into your model that Lex has given us, where the MCI only tracks your normal, production costs, and it doesn't factor in what capital improvements you may have planned that would be separate.
All right, well, that makes sense.
But did his example include the capital improvement projects in terms of his projections on the rate increases?
His did, yes, sir. But say those capital improvement projects may fluctuate from time to time.
I spoke to Dr. Keller about this and about the fact that it's 4% this time. And when I spoke to him, he said that May would suffice if we had it on all of the utilities except the electric. I mean, that's about as far as we got. I really don't want to vote on this and then come back in another 4 weeks and do 6 or 7 or 8% on water and sewer. I know we've got to face some realities, but we cannot tax our citizens out of an ability to pay for what they get from the city, or we can't charge them so much. And the reason I was talking with Dr. Keller was I am getting so many complaints about the sewer fee. That is really what is driving a lot of complaints right now, because with the high water usage, that means that their sewer rates are, I think he said, 1.2% higher than the water rate, or something like that. And again, this is one of the things I thought that we were going. I didn't realize we were voting on this tonight. I thought we were discussing it and voting it on the 28th, the MCI, because I know you sent it to us early.
Well,
I think that
the question is, do you want to continue the MCI? And then if you do, then on what utilities do you want to continue it? And then I'll come back with the formal resolution on the 28th with those particular utilities and those particular increases in the time period for the MCI, which in the past was 5 years. But I wanted to know, first of all, do you want to, it sunsets on the 28th of this month, so do you want to reinstitute it, and if so, for what?
I think it's the fairest way to give small increments in the cost of utilities that keeps up with inflation and other things. I would rather do the minor adjustments like this than the big water rate increase we had, last year before last, for about 22% or something. I don't think it was 22%, I don't remember the percentage. But I prefer doing it with
MCI.
this way with the MCI.
And I would too, and we look at where
water and sewer?
No, well, sure.
Yes, but we look at where we might, if we've got capital projects, look at where we can reduce our dependence on the general fund.
The MCI doesn't fit into the model that Lex Warman presented to you this morning.
But he came in with no increase recommendation for 2012, and to me, that's 4%. That's 4% revenue increase that we could. We can put that 4% into a reserve for right now for the capital projects, or they just.
I think you.
If you go back to the board, we averaged 3.2 for 5 years. The drop we averaged 3.2 for 5 years in 2008 was the negative 4.9. When you got debt service prior, that presented a challenge. Overall, it's been 3.2. Start looking at additional debt, we're looking at MCI after we already have debt obligations to the regional reservoir of, $64 million. The challenge now is creating some additional revenue needs or a bond needed to make additional capital improvements. Couldn't handle 2 years at a negative MCI and continue to try to pay the debt.
Could we have 2 two choices to pick on the 28th after our workshop that morning, or I'm with Ms. Todd. I'd like to see us, I don't want to give up that 4% and be able to have that money going into reserve or a rainy day fund until we know exactly what projects we're going to do. And
Well, I'm already hearing politics and people complaining, so that's what I worry about.
but we've tolerated it for 5 years, and we've had an amount that's justifiable based on the MCI.
Well,
And we've
everybody's
had less complaints
Yeah.
about the small increment increases. And I think I can't see where it has not served us well.
Well, I mean, I assume we could leave the MCI as it is and then plug the MCI into Lex's rate model. The rate model that he presents just gives you so many more variables of almost everything you can think of that has an effect on your rates.
And we discussed that today, Kenny, and we're looking at, adding another line to the model for variance when you go into a negative flow, but that, we think we do that. So, it'll be available, for that, we've got to remember, if you go below the required debt necessary in order to, from the revenue standpoint, pay the debt, it's gonna have to be some type of variable, where if the MCI happens to be 2, but your debt requirement is 3.2%, it would have to be 50, and it would give the 1.2% to offset the city for that particular year. And he's putting that into the model.
Or we've got to cut back on how much we're transferring from the general fund,
Well, combination would have
a combination.
Right, and he was very clear on that, I thought.
Yes.
So, my motion would be to keep the MCI on water, sewer, stormwater,
Just like we have it now.
Just like I
just
said.
like we have now.
Okay? Then I can bring that resolution back on the 8th and just continue what we're doing now and go with it from there. And then we'd have to plug an anticipated MCI adjustment into Lex's rate model.
And we don't have to spend every dime we bring in every year. If we can,
You sound like a husband.
just treasure checks $1,000.
Right.
Okay.
All right, I made the motion that we continue the MCI, the extension of the rate based on the municipal cost indexes adopted in February 2007, and which provisions sunset on February the 28th, 2012. I move that we continue the MCI for the next 5 years.
And I'll remove my second and second her motion.
Okay, so is this a done deal, or are you still gonna come back and give us the specifics, or are we just approving it?
Well, I actually need to give you I need to give you a formal resolution to that effect for the formality of the 28th.
So we're voting on continuing the MCI
Yes, ma'am.
on all utilities except electric.
Same ones we are now,
And,
yes,
customer
ma'am.
service fee.
All right, I'm in favor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion?
We'll do it 28th.
Yeah, the formal resolution will come back on the 28th.
Okay, so do we need to vote on this tonight?
Vote on anything, right?
Okay, we don't need to vote on anything. One is saying yes and the other one saying no. Okay.
Do we need to vote?
Not from the
Well, you
28th.
got a motion on the floor, but the parliamentarian says you don't have
But
to.
you don't have the
vote,
written
so.
resolution.
All right,
to
so
vote
then
on.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay,
That's all it is.
okay.
I'm confused.
I think it's a damn-
Okay, so now, 13,
Airport.
It was on the table for just this morning.
Oh, I bet I did away with it.
I probably.
Well, we had a good discussion this morning, but I'm still, I'm gonna move that we approve this MOU. I'll say one or two more words, first or second.
Second.
And I think this is a complete win for the city. We get what we want, annexation, we get the service delivery, and it's all up. The only thing we agreed to is to talk about some other issues. I think it's a big win-win. And, if we don't approve it, we don't approve it, but I think it's a great help in our relations with the county, and we get what we want, so I can see no downside. And I'll end it there.
Okay.
Right, I talked with Raymond Ray this afternoon. Raymond called me and told me that on the 20th, they are going to take annexation of the airport into the city on a separate issue. And that they feel that they're confident that they will carry the vote on annexation of that area, the airport, the proposed airport into the city.
And they're carrying forward with what they've said they would do on this, so,
But he told me it would be separate.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding as it is written with the 5 items, the one that we discussed this morning.
Just for the record, my position is I think for us to have to do this when we already had an agreement is not necessary. They need to do what they said they were going to do, and then we can discuss each of these issues on an individual basis in a polite, gentle way.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor of approving the memorandum of understanding as it is written here, let it be known by show of hands. All opposed? Okay. 2-5. Okay. Is that everything? Okay. City manager, do you have anything?
We've talked a lot about the 28th, so we've got a lot to talk about.
At 6 in the morning, we're going to have
at least I have it tentatively scheduled to start at 9, and assume we'll be there pretty much all day. And I did schedule to have it at the gardens at UGA, so we could have a little more better atmosphere and kind of get away a little bit. So,
we need some boxing gloves too.
We're staying where? Where's our meeting going to be?
At the gardens at the UGA for that day.
Okay.
And you will be providing lunch.
We'll be providing lunch.
Now, can you match what the county did today?
I can guarantee you that it will be warm.
I want to go to jail.
Whatever we have, it will be warm. And that's all I have.
Okay. Do you have anything?
Just one thing, I think a very important thing that took place in Georgia last week went largely unnoticed. Gwinnett County settled with their cities on the service delivery strategy suit. This is the first judicial determination in favor of municipalities on the issues of tax equity. Now, it didn't go on to a full appeal, therefore it doesn't technically have binding precedent, but I think you certainly got a good framework. The judge who handled that case wrote a very good order, which I think most of you saw last year when it first came out, and I think it certainly can be used as the example again. Gwinnett's going to create 4 special tax districts. For example, all of their building, planning, zoning, permitting for the unincorporated area will be paid for solely by taxes levied in a special tax district comprised of the unincorporated area of Gwinnett County. They've also set up a district for their county police. They've got, I think, 4 cities that do not have their own police department who contract with the county who will be included within that district. But the concept of the Service Delivery Strategy Act has finally, been tested and I think been successful.
Okay.
That would be solid waste, could be considered as well, I think.
No, I think it's part of the discussion. It's on the table now.
Commissioner Bell?
No, I'd just like to wish the ladies present a happy Valentine's Day.
I ate my candy today. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Commissioner Morrow?
This is a girls' holiday.
Yeah.
No comment.
Commissioner?
A couple of items next week when we talk. The young lady brought the issue about due dates. If there's a way that we keep talking about how we can be more flexible on the customer service side, and then the customer service fee, the $3.09. If we could discuss that matter in regards to how we can build it into all the rates, so it's something that's kind of antagonizes people, and it's been antagonizing. If there's a way to build that into everybody's rate. And then media, do you have a better view and hear better, if you like?
Yeah, but it doesn't work for us. We can see you, but
So we appreciate all the stories y'all give us and positive input.
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Ryan?
I guess the fire happened in between board meetings, didn't
Yeah.
it? And,
2 weeks
when
ago.
we read the little synopsis that you guys gave us, the incident report, tell you, that was an outstanding job. I
Good job.
appreciate the reaction, Tom. I know that became priority one as soon as, the phone call went out and everybody rushed to it, and you guys did an outstanding job, because that could have been a disaster for this community. And I appreciate y'all doing that. And, I hope Harry out there saved some pancakes for you guys for Valentine's Day, on Pancake Day, so y'all can have a good evening. But I'll echo some Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Thank you, Commissioner Cora.
No comment.
Commissioner Todd?
I have had a wonderful Valentine's Day. Thank you, Shahir, thank you, Harry, and for all the well wishes here. Listen, we're young.
I'm going home
We
on
still celebrate
that
these
note.
holidays.
Yeah, I think so. I got a sore throat from my little girl for
Okay.
my Valentine's Day. I don't have any comment.
Make a motion to adjourn.